Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be how the narcissist underestimated your strength. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So the narcissist is usually overplaying their hand. And when they overplay their hand, many times they are underestimating the person that they're trying to abuse or have discarded, however you want to call it. The narcissist is very cocky, they're arrogant, they are shallow, they are anxiety riddled, they are empty vessels. And what they need to do is they need to glom on to other individuals or people like yourself, and they use you as a fuel source to get through this thing called life. That is why they cannot maintain solid relationships or stable relationships with anybody, which includes their own family members, their own kids, neighbors, coworkers, romantic interests, people in communities or organizations, and certainly business acquaintances. Any relationship with the narcissist is destined to fail. I will tell you that right now. And the reason why that is because the narcissist does not want to work towards any common goals that do not benefit themselves exclusively. And once they reach the goal that benefits them, that's usually when they crumble up individuals, people, and throw them away like a piece of trash on the freeway, i.e. the discard. And this happens each and every day all over the planet. Remember, the narcissist likes to do a few things. One thing is they like to recycle old sources of supply. That is very important. So if you haven't healed yet, or you are just on the healing path, remember, do not accept a Hoover. And what is a Hoover? A Hoover is when the narcissist is trying to draw you back into the relationship. And perhaps they claim that they've changed, they've found Jesus, they've seen a therapist, you actually are the love of their life, etc. That is all smoke and mirrors. Do not, and I repeat, do not accept a Hoover. It will not end good for you. Now, having said all these things, how the narcissist underestimated your strength, they had you in a very, very precarious situation. They had you for a period of time during your life, and maybe it's even right now and you're trying to remove yourself from the relationship with the narcissist, but they had you pinned down, they had you cornered in a place that I call the narcissistic fog. This is where you were existing. This is where you were working for the relationship. This is where you yourself were a shell of yourself. This is when you gave to a fault. This is where you were a people pleaser, probably. You were certainly trapped and you became an extension of the narcissist. Now, the narcissist placed you there in that zombie-like, trance-like state on purpose. And how they did it, I'll explain to you very quickly here. Because when you first met them, the narcissist usually acted like they were the best thing since sliced bread. Maybe they became your alleged soulmate, love of your life, the yin to your yang, the person who completes them, all that, if that was a romantic interest, or maybe it was a friendship and they acted like they liked the same hobbies and groups that you liked. Well, nothing could have been further from the truth. What the narcissist was doing is they were looking for a replacement for the current supply. Remember, when you entered that relationship with the narcissist, first of all, you were not taught narcissism in school, so you did not know what you were up against. Second of all, the person that the narcissist had as a fuel source, their resources were becoming depleted and diminished. That is why this person, the narcissist, that's why they saw you as a fuel source, because they were getting ready to discard the old one, or maybe they already did, or maybe they're just super low on supply and they needed somebody who did not know their own worth, their own value. They did not know what narcissism was, and perhaps they were going through life with rose-tinted glasses, or a people pleaser, or a yes person, or they couldn't say no, the strongest word in the English language. Remember, when you say no to something or someone, you are saying yes to yourself. It's very important. And also, you probably didn't have boundaries back then, because you thought most people on the planet thought like you, had your best interest at heart, wanted you to succeed and to grow. So many people do not have your best interest at heart. So many people are envious of you. So many people are jealous of you. Now, this is not everybody, but it certainly is the narcissist. And so many people want to be you. Let's focus on that for a brief moment here, then I'm going to get into your strength. The narcissist, when you were with them, think about all the different hobbies that they themselves tried to start or establish. And then perhaps after a month, they would get jaded and bored and they would find a new hobby. Now, really focus in on this. This is a pivotal part of the video. Like the narcissist example, maybe they picked up gardening for a period of time. Okay, well, did they have a green thumb? Probably not. But somebody in their life at that period of time was gardening, and that turned the narcissist onto gardening. That's why when you would come home during that period of time, you would have a whole bunch of plants in your house or things to be done to be grown indoors, flowers and things. And you're like, what happened here? Like, well, everything was good, but now you're into gardening? What's that? Well, you couldn't wrap your head around it back then, but the truth is somebody in the life of the narcissist, not you, but somebody else, was into gardening, and they turned the narcissist onto this, and that is the nice new shiny object or shiny toy that the narcissist needed for that month. And then again, let's say after a month, maybe a couple months, the narcissist figured out they don't have a green thumb and they don't want to spend money buying plants and taking care of them because they're lazy and they're bullies and they're cowards and they don't want to create, they want to destroy. But what do they do? Oh, I know. Let's pick up bike riding. Okay, well, who's bike riding in the group? I don't know. But people were bike riding and you were not one of them. This is how the narcissist picks up hobbies, and this is why they get jaded and bored with everything so often, because they can't sustain things. That's why they wear the mask, to manipulate people, and once they have their dirty fangs sunken into people, which at one period of time was me, and I'm sure it was you, that's when they have these people stuck in that zombie-like, trance-like state, the narcissistic fog, and you don't know how you got there, and you certainly don't know how to get out of there. And in that fog with you are multiple people, and they are trying to get out of there too, or trying to figure out what's going on, but they can't see either. The fog is not a good place to be. Just like the fog behind me on this overcast day, it's not a good place to be when you're in the narcissistic fog. Now behind me, the weather here, it's beautiful. I love it. I love the rain. I love all the elements. That's why I create videos outdoors. But I'm sharing with you, when you don't know if you're coming or going, and you don't know who's going to open the door, Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde, and you don't know what gaslighting is, what stonewalling is, what the silent treatment is, what rage fits are, and you're experiencing verbal abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, spiritual abuse, financial abuse, your health is taking a hit left, right, and center. When all these things are going on around you, you cannot figure out what's going on. You just know that all of your resources are becoming depleted and you're not yourself. Now, when you were in the relationship with the narcissist, you did not know what was going on. You just knew that you kept on working for the narcissist. And the narcissist was watching your resources become depleted and diminished more and more and more. And the narcissist was always checking the temperature or the pulse of your relationship with them. They were seeing how many more zeros in your bank account they could bleed from you. They were seeing if your health was really taking a turn for the worse, or if you would recover from this most recent health concern, and then they could pepper you with abuse again. They were looking to see if you were about to get an inheritance or a bonus or a pay raise, or if your business that you started or the job that you were working at was about to take off. They were always watching you. And that's not only those things, the narcissist was watching you when you were in your house also. Focus on this one for a couple seconds. Were you ever in, maybe it's the workplace, maybe it's your house, who knows? Maybe it's in a car. But did you ever notice how the narcissist at times will be staring at you, looking at you? It's almost as if they are processing how you think, act, look, feel, express yourself. And then you would look over at them and catch them, and then they would just act like nothing happened. That is what they do to people. They are zombie-like individuals. They are staring at people. They are trying to figure out what makes people tick and which buttons to press at the moment to get what they need. That was a side note for you, but please drop comments below if you know what I'm talking about. The narcissist is always, or was always, watching you. And they're watching people right now all over the globe, whether it is themselves directly or through flying monkeys or through alleged fake accounts on the internet, on different social media platforms. But the narcissist, why they underestimated your strength? Because they watched you deteriorate over that length of the relationship. They watched everything take a hit. And then one day, maybe even a couple days before your favorite holiday, you were discarded. And if you were, my heart goes out to you. But what happened then? Well, I will tell you what happened then. What happened then is you could not wrap your head around how all of the time and the investment you placed into people all over the sorry, I got distracted, there was a bug there. All the time that you had placed into the relationship with the narcissist and with all the friends and family groups that you had, all this went away in a split second. And when it went away, what happened? I'll tell you what happened. You were left for dead on the side of the road. You were not supposed to make it. You were not supposed to survive. But what did you do? I'll tell you what you did. You processed things slowly. And you were resilient and you were focused and you wanted to figure out who would do such a thing, who would discard another human being when they actually took vows and walked down the aisle in front of almost 100 people. Who knows? I'll tell you who. A toxic individual, somebody who did not want you to survive. So when this happened, you had to dust yourself off by the bootstraps, pick yourself up. You had to first of all find that needle in a haystack, which is narcissism. And when you did that, that's when you got your first light bulb moment. And that's when you said, oh my gosh, this is real. It is an actual thing. And I was married to one. Oh My gosh. And next thing you did is you probably went down on the ground on all hands and knees and started losing it, crying, maybe even breathing uncontrollably, because you could not wrap your head around how somebody like this could exist and that you were involved in a relationship with them and how you did not know about it. This took days to process. It actually took weeks, if you want the truth. And then along the way, what did you do? You began to go down the rabbit hole of exploration, of discovery, of understanding what these people do. And then slowly but surely, you began to process things, understanding that most of those people from that relationship, if not all of them, not only did they not check in on you, but they were going to be checking out of your life forever, because they vetted themselves, because they listened to the smear campaign. They did not ever knock on your door and check in on you. Hey, how you doing? You okay? Is there anything I could do for you? When you don't get that, you get radio silence, you know something is wrong, because the day before the discard, everybody was communicating with you. Everything was going the way it was supposed to be going. And how was that, you may ask? I'll tell you. It was with you enduring abuse day in and day out, week after week, month after month, year after year, maybe even decade after decade. As long as you were enduring and or tolerating the abuse, everything was fine. But the minute you stood up for yourself, the minute you put a boundary up, boom, the discard happens. So now, how the narcissist underestimated your strength, because at that point, after the discard, after some time had passed, maybe a few weeks, maybe a few months, maybe a couple of years, who knows? Please drop comments below if this resonates with you. But you slowly began to heal. You began to practice radical acceptance. You began to understand that this was not your fault, that you were manipulated, and that you were taken for a ride, and that you were taken advantage of, and that relationship, it served a purpose for the narcissist. You thought you were in love, and you thought you were in a stable or healthy relationship headed in the same direction as the person who turns out to be the narcissist. Nothing, and I mean nothing, could be further from the truth. Your vows meant something to you. What did they mean to the narcissist? They just meant this is a license to abuse. This meant that I can keep my facade going to the exterior world, and behind closed doors, I will pepper this person, which was you, with abuse, gaslighting, stonewalling, silent treatment. I will disappear for days on end, maybe even long weekends, and claim that I was working, wink, wink. Who knows? But the whole time you, the person watching the video, you had a purpose. You were there to provide support for the person, the narcissist. You were there to provide a roof over their head, maybe to raise their kids, pay the bills, and maybe to help them create a business. Who knows what you were doing, but you were doing something for them. You were the unpaid helper. You were the walking apology. You were the person who was expected to endure the toxicity and the poor behavior of the narcissist to the detriment of yourself, to the betterment of them. Now, all of these things I'm mentioning, somewhere post-narcissistic relationship, you began to get your first light bulb moments after you discovered what narcissism was, and you realized, wow, this person is incapable of change, meaning the narcissist. And they're doing this to somebody else right now. And they've been doing it to people before I met them. So what's going to happen here? I'll tell you what will happen. What will happen is the narcissist will only get worse over time. They become an aging narcissist. They become a shell of themselves, and all of the toxicity and the nasty abuse that they dish out to people left, right, and center, it catches up with them. Because in the end, the narcissist is left isolated, all alone, on their own. Nobody, and I mean nobody, will be there for them. Why? I'll tell you why. Because the narcissist has so many skeletons in their closet, and they burn so many bridges throughout their lifetime, people eventually wise up. Everybody in time reveals themselves. Every single person, and the narcissist is no different. So after the discard, like I mentioned, years later, perhaps, you can drop comments below what your experience was. Please pay it forward with the community. But what happened is you began to heal. Your health began to return. Your finances began to improve. Your social circle had all vetted themselves out, and now you had a much smaller social circle. And all of these things, one by one, began to put themselves together, piece by piece, one by one. And what did you do? That's when you realize that you have the ability to just be. When I say just be, I mean just be. I mean, take it easy, take it slow, and absolutely begin living your best life. In order to do that, though, what you must do is you must understand that that toxic narcissistic relationship, there was no other way. You had to go through it. If you think that you could have avoided it, you really need to stop and pause and think again. If that narcissistic relationship, you did not encounter that one, you would have encountered another one, I can assure you, because this is a lifelong learning lesson that you had to experience. Now, all of these things I'm mentioning are going to culminate right here for the video, so please play this a few times and really focus on what I'm going to share with you. You are resilient, you are beautiful, you are blessed, you are strong, you are courageous, you're full of fortitude, of light, of positivity, of positive energy, of abundance. All of these things the narcissist did not believe that you would recapture for yourself, because the narcissist had you in a place, that zombie-like, trance-like state. They had you captured. They did not think you would ever figure out A, who they were, B, how to get out of it, C, that you have the key to your freedom, and D, that you will heal and you will become the third version of yourself, the most strongest, galvanized version known to humankind. These are facts. The whole point of the narcissistic relationship, once you get the wisdom and apply the tools that I provide for you, the whole key here is you need to heal, and you need to give your energy to yourself first and foremost. And when your cup is full and you are extremely strong and your confidence has returned and your health has returned and all of your resources have returned, that is when you pay it forward. That is when your understanding of what you went through, that there was no other way, you had to go through it. But now you can identify a toxic individual in a moment, just with a few words they use, or the way their behavior does not match their words. All of these things are now your superpower. This, again, is a superpower on steroids, post-narcissistic relationship. Once you've risen through the ashes like a phoenix and you've conquered the narcissistic abusive cycle. Now, it's not easy to do this, but in time, in your time, you will do it. I did it. If I did it, you can do it. Believe me when I tell you, the whole point of the narcissistic relationship was for you to understand that you had to go through this. There was simply no other way. And you must identify and realize and be polite with yourself that the path is now all about you. It's about helping those loved and trusted ones around you in reciprocal relationships. It's not about dwelling in the past. It's about learning the lifelong lessons from the past. It's not about predicting the future. It's about living in the present moment. And when you live in the present moment, that is where the abundance happens. That's where doors open up for you. That's when possibilities happen. That's when the real reality of your life is unfolded. Believe me when I tell you, the relationship you were a part of, it almost took you down for the count, but it did not. And here you are on the channel. If you've made it this far in the video, drop comments below. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The whole point is, this is something you had to go through, and you are stronger than you know. So don't give up. Don't ever give up. Believe in yourself now and always. Guys, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that you are not alone. God bless you, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, bye, you guys.